number 9, Julianne Hough. Halloween 2013 was not a good time to be Julianne Hough, as she attracted some negative buzz surrounding her costume. In the getup she wore to a Hollywood Halloween party, Julianne was seen dressed as Crazy Eyes from Orange Is the New Black. All well and good, other than the fact that she was doing blackface as part of the costume. As the character of Crazy Eyes is played by Uzo Aduba, a black actress, Julianne sought out to recreate the look by darkening her skin tone to match the character, as well as tying her hair up in knots to mimic the hairstyle of Crazy Eyes' character. Obviously, this didn't sit well with people, and Julianne issued several apologies for her actions. Uzo Aduba actually publicly addressed the situation, saying that she forgives Julianne and asking for people to move on from it. But following this controversial costume, Julianne's picture in this outfit now falls on the list of what not to wear for Halloween.
In at number 8, Kim Kardashian. Kim Kardashian got tons of backlash after she dressed up as Aaliyah in 2017, with people thinking she was culturally appropriating or blackfishing. But from what I saw, she didn't darken her skin tone at all. As a response to the backlash, she issued an apology, writing, quote, "I saw online that some people thought my costume was in poor taste, and I'm truly sorry if that offended anyone. When I was creating the costume, I wasn't dressing up as a race or culture, but rather as a woman whom I always admire." Adding, quote, "We don't see color in my home, it's all love and respect." But people had issues with that last part, saying that race is important and ignoring it isn't the way to go either.
At number 7, we have Hilary Duff as a pilgrim. So back in 2016, Hilary Duff and her boyfriend Jason Walsh definitely showed up to Casamigos' Halloween party in the most tone-deaf costumes the world has ever seen. Hilary would come as a pilgrim, and her boyfriend would show up as a Native American chief. The Huffington Post would then point out that the internet was so quick to point out how insensitive their looks were, and how even more offensive it was knowing the relationships between pilgrims and Native Americans were. One person then went on to tweet, "No, Hilary Duff, traditional dress is not a costume, and you being dressed as a pilgrim proves to me how insensitive and ignorant you are." Hilary would then come out to say that she was so sorry and she didn't think her costume out properly, but this whole situation was just inexcusable, so it doesn't matter how much she apologized, no one would ever be satisfied with it.
In at number 6, Tia Mowry. Tia Mowry decided to dress up as a Japanese geisha for her 2013 Halloween party, and people online were not happy. In the comments of her Instagram photo, the reviews were pretty mixed, with some people defending her, while others were calling her out for cultural appropriation, with people writing things like, quote, "My race and the races of others are not a costume for a cheesy holiday," and quote, "Please do some research on cultural appropriation. Geisha costumes are not cool, girl."
Up next at number 5, halfway through, we have Kate Hudson. The American actress and author is an award winner and has starred in some of the most romantic rom-coms as of How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, if you remember that one, and Bride Wars. I love How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Random fact, you're gonna be like, what the hell? I based my prom dress off her yellow dress in that movie. Anyways, no one cares. Just thought I'd throw it out there. But Kate shocked many people for her costume in 2014 as Dr. Luke. The distasteful costume featured the singer in scrubs and a name tag that reads, "Dr. Luke, Gynecology Department." But the person she was dressing up as was not a doctor. She was imitating Dr. Luke, the music producer that abused Kesha over a period of 10 years. At the time, Luke and Kesha were in the middle of their lawsuit, so the costume was very off-putting to fans and just seemed like an awful decision. The media took this by storm and criticized her costume as it was very inappropriate for the time, and in general. It's possible though that her intentions for the costume were good to try and show her support for Kesha. However, if that was truly her intention, there are just better ways of showing your support.
In at number 4, Scott Disick. Scott Disick got a ton of backlash in 2014 after he decided to dress up like a Middle Eastern sheik, with people commenting that people's cultures are not a costume. The caption on his Instagram photo said, quote, "Happy Halloween, we getting Arab money tonight." But the crazy part is that his Instagram wasn't the one that was flooded with negative comments. Instead, it was Chloe's Instagram that got that response, as she posted a photo of the two of them together and captioned the photo, quote, "Chic pussy." And the reason for that is because she was dressed up as a cat and he was a sheik, and you know, put that together I guess. With a deleted scene of Keeping Up showing the aftermath of the situation, with Scott telling Courtney that the hate got out of hand with Chloe's post, not his. Adding, quote, "But on my Instagram I posted a picture of my chic outfit and everyone loved it." With Courtney commenting that because Scott is known for being pretty outlandish, his followers probably expect something different from him, then Chloe.
At number 3, we have Kylie Jenner as an Eskimo. Kylie Jenner looked cold as ice when she decided to wear an Eskimo costume back in 2015. The star could be seen wearing a white fluffy miniskirt and a matching fluffy hooded crop, and she even paired the outfit with her fuzzy white boots. However, Kylie would then be called out for having bad taste and for being culturally insensitive. Kylie's first photo would caption on Instagram as an Eskimo, but after the outrage, she would then change it to Snow Princess. This would end up insulting the Native community even more because the term Eskimo is often considered a slur for Native Americans and First Nations people throughout the northern regions.
And at number 2, Snooki. Snooki is best known from her Jersey Shore days when her outrageous antics and big personality catapulted her to fame. But since Snooki started out as a regular girl and not a celebrity, it makes sense that she would have a big miss in the Halloween costume department. And that's exactly what happened in 2010 when Snooki decided to dress up as a girl on a milk carton by wearing a milk carton on her face with a hole cut out and with the words missing plastered above it. And if you didn't already know, milk cartons were a popular way to publicize that a child was missing back in the 1980s, and showing missing children on the side of milk cartons was a popular practice until the late 1990s. So obviously a huge miss from Snooki.
Moving along to number 8 is Ashley Tisdale. The family-friendly Disney star found her acting success in the High School Musical movies. That being said, she stirred up quite a bit of controversy when she appeared at Vanessa Hudgens' 2016 party in a Day of the Dead inspired look. Let's be clear, Day of the Dead and Halloween are not the same, and the Day of the Dead is a Mexican celebration to honor deceased relatives. Therefore, fans slammed Ashley for her costume being extremely racist and offensive to some people. Her costume got her accused of appropriating Mexican culture and sexualizing their event. Ashley's husband would later go on to defend his wife, but the damage was already done. So his defense didn't work. While it was cute, it didn't work.
At number 7, Chris Brown. In another round of tasteless actions from Chris Brown comes his Halloween costume from 2012. To attend an LA costume party hosted by Rihanna, Chris showed up wearing a costume based on the clothing worn by members of the Taliban. Chris and his friends showed up to the party dressed as terrorists, donning turbans, machine guns, and ammunition. He and his friends posed in their bearded costumes before arriving at the party, where they kept the outfits and took pictures with other big name celebrities. Upon arriving, the only thing that Chris changed out of was his beard. I don't think I need to highlight why this is wrong because it should be quite obvious, but just hearing the phrase that someone dressed up like a terrorist should make you groan with frustration. As images of the singer hit the internet, people were outraged. One Twitter user wrote, "Just in case you needed another reason to hate Chris Brown, behold this Halloween costume." This offensive night out just came a few years after his reported battery of his ex-girlfriend Rihanna.
Moving up the chart at number 6, we have Hilary Duff and her then boyfriend Jason Walsh. During the celebrity's time on Disney, Hilary had to keep a very squeaky clean image, but after transitioning out of her Disney stardom, she was able to make decisions for herself. But this costume decision should not have been worn out in public, as in 2016, the couple costume of choice for them was a pilgrim and a native chief. As soon as the pictures of the two started circling on social media, a lot of people were upset. Not only is the costume offensive in itself, but this was at the time that there were protests against the Dakota Access Pipeline that would go through sacred grounds. So everything that could have been wrong with this costume was wrong. Hilary eventually took to Twitter to apologize though for her couple's costume and said that she was deeply sorry to people that she offended and that she did not properly think it through. So she took accountability and she apologized. So stands for something, right?
At number 5, we have Pamela Anderson as a Native American. I don't know what's more outrageous, the fact that Pamela Anderson thought it was okay to dress as a Native American, or the fact that she tried to justify her actions with it. When Pamela posted to her Instagram wearing a headdress, which is typically worn by male leaders for ceremonial purposes, Pamela's costume would spark some major criticism by people who accused the former Baywatch star of being racially insensitive. One user would even call out Pamela by tweeting, "It's not hard to just dress as thousands of other non-harmful things, but I guess that ship has sailed at this point." Anderson would then refuse to comment on the controversy, however she would tweet a link that was titled "The Logic of Cultural Appropriation." We all know that was uncalled for and the star should have known better.
Taking our next spot at number 4, we have the American actor Colton Haynes. The celebrity is known for his outrageous and over-the-top Halloween costumes, but this one was not a fan favorite. for obvious reasons. Back in 2011, the actor wore blackface when dressing up as Kanye West, and he painted his whole body for the costume. The intention of going as Kanye West was not the problem, it was covering his whole body in dark brown paint. You would think Colton would learn from his past mistakes of controversial Halloween costumes, but that would not be the case. The following year, the actor dressed in blackface for a second time and painted his body for a Gandhi costume. Colton has since apologized for his controversial costumes and says that he was unaware that he was offending people with them and that it wasn't his intention. Making the very same mistake twice, like 2 years in a row, is pretty bad, and his career has just never been the same since then, to be honest, but I wonder why.
At number 10, we have Shaun White as Simple Jack. Three-time Olympic champion Shaun White had to apologize to the Special Olympic Committee after he received backlash over his choice of Halloween costumes back in 2018 when the American snowboarder posted a photo of himself dressed up as Simple Jack. Now, Simple Jack is a disabled character played by Ben Stiller in the 2008 movie Tropic Thunder. At the time, Tropic Thunder was condemned for its disrespectful portrayal of Simple Jack's character. The Special Olympic Chair Board would come out to say that they were truly disappointed that the Olympian would choose this costume, which is so offensive and caused so much pain. Shaun would later come out to say that he owed everybody in the Special Olympic community an apology for his poor choice of Halloween costumes the other night. It was a last-minute decision and it was a wrong one. The Special Olympics are right to call me out on it. They do great work supporting many tremendous athletes, and I'm so sorry for being so insensitive. Lesson learned. Now, disabilities are not a joke or a punchline, so you should definitely reconsider your costumes before you end up discriminating the community. At number 8, we have Nikki Hilton as a Native American. Harris Nikki Hilton drew some huge criticism with her Native American costume. When many people called her out on insulting First Nations people, the star even refused to make a comment about it. To natives, it's more than just a costume, it's more than culture. The symbols of Native American headdresses and outfits are sacred, and they carry them a sense of honor and victory that's difficult to convey to non-natives. With the depth and magnitude of cultural genocide and active prostitution of Native people, the headdress represents the life, the land, and the liberty they sacrifice for these cultural pieces to be passed on across generations. Now, not to mention, considering we wiped out their culture by stealing their community's children, it's inappropriate and inexcusable to play, perform, and pretend at parties that were part of the community with these sacred markers. What's even more disappointing is that Nikki never apologized for her actions.
At number 5, Heidi Klum. Heidi Klum is pretty well known for her extravagant Halloween costumes. Once spooky season rolls around each year, you're bound to see her go all out for the occasion, but there came a time where she went a little too far with her costume choice. In 2008, Heidi dressed up as the Hindu goddess Kali, and it did not go over well. Many people of the Hindu faith took great offense to Heidi's costume and even requested that Heidi issue an apology for having posed as the sacred figure. The costume, which was awarded Best Costume of the Night, had condemned Heidi by the Hindu community, as some said that the figure of Kali should be worshipped in temples and, quote, not used in clubs for publicity stunts or thrown around loosely for dramatic effects, as she is seen as a very important figure in their religion.
At number 4, we have Ashley Benson as a lion. So in 2015, Ashley Benson decided to dress up as a lion. However, what could have been such a cute costume was quickly met with controversy when she captioned the pic and made a reference to the slain Cecile the lion. Cecile was a beautiful male lion that made headlines that summer after he was slain in Zimbabwe by a Minnesota dentist. After 7 users would call out Ashley's caption offensive and would tell her that it was just a bad taste decision for the star, she would then change her caption to just say lion. Now, Ashley did issue an apology and said, "Yesterday's post was a poor taste and I absolutely regret all of the hurt that the photo caused. The caption that was posted was incorrect and my costume was not Cecile the lion." She then tried to say that it was her management team that handles her post and that she had them change it immediately. But do we actually believe that it was her management team, or do we think it was her? Let me know in the comments below.
Moving to our top 3 spots, at number 3 is the EDM duo The Chainsmokers. The music duo has produced Billboard-topping chart songs with artists like Justin Bieber, Coldplay, and Halsey. But the very popular musicians were met with backlash in 2014 after their, this is what it was called, Ebrola costume. Yes, you heard that right, Ebrola. I will explain. After performing at a university, the duo made their way to a fraternity after party where they showed up in a pretty controversial costume. The costume mocked the deadly disease Ebola, Ebola, which at the time was a great epidemic in West Africa that had killed more than 5,000 people by that point. It's easy to say that their costume of a hazmat suit and fake mustaches of imitating health workers was pretty tone deaf during that time. Looking back on this controversy now in 2021, after going through a pandemic for the past 2 years, I don't think this costume would fly with anyone. I'm pretty sure people did stuff though in 2020 regarding the COVID costume thing.